Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Thursday, June 9th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. Great television archives, some old stuff that I was involved in, some stuff that I wasn't involved in, just great television history up there on the couple of features that we have along the top. Also, we got the eye candy feature, which is very, very popular. Every day it's a different photograph or viral video or just something that I've dug out of the past. We have a good one again today we'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. I'm out here on the deck this morning because I'm trying to intimidate the boar bees. Now, I'd never even heard of boar bees until a couple of years ago when we moved into this house. We have this beautiful wooden deck. I come out here and I see sawdust laying on the deck. And I'm like, what the hell, where's the sawdust coming from? Do I have termites? But it was like a lot of sawdust. And you're thinking to yourself, what could possibly be big enough to displace that amount of wood? I can show you. There's sawdust right there. And these bees come in that I've never even heard of before. I'm a city kid. Bees come in and they drill. And they drill what looks, I mean, you could take a Dremel tool and you wouldn't have a hole that was more beautifully bored into the wood here than what these boar bees do. So I've sprayed all sorts of stuff all over the place. Nothing seems to intimidate them. Nothing seems to make them go away. Except here's one right now. Okay, so there's one right now coming in here, which I'm going to try to whack. Hold on here. Just stay with me for 1 second. This little son of a gun. Hold on here. I got this wadded up swimsuit. I'm going to see what happens. Now, I don't know if they'll attack me if I attack it first. Let me just see what happens here. This is live. Hold on 1 second. He's crawling in there right. I'll be right back. Don't move. See now, I'm telling you something. I whacked at him there, and it didn't even do anything. One more time. Hold on. No. See, I don't think anything's happening. I don't think these guys are going away. I don't know what to spray on here. So anyhow, they're drilling holes in my deck, and I had heard a story that there was a deck collapse, and a lot of people were hurt. This was a couple of years ago. I want to say that it had something to do with some Deadheads or something. People hanging around a Grateful Dead concert, and they were all hanging out in Wentzville, and they were on a deck, and the deck collapsed, and nobody could figure out why the deck collapsed, and it was because I had heard that they had boar bees, and they were drilling holes into stuff, and it had compromised the integrity of the deck. And the next thing you know, everybody's standing on the deck one night, and kaboom, everybody goes down. A lot of people got hurt. So I ain't messing around here. So if you have any boar bee, you're getting tired of this, aren't you? I'm getting tired of saying boar bees. All right, let's dig right in here. You thought this story was over, and it apparently isn't. All right, so the producers of The Hangover 2 can't seem to settle the lawsuit filed by Mike Tyson's tattoo artist before the movie hits DVD, and they might actually have to alter the tattoo on Ed Helms' face for the DVD release. As you'll recall, Warner Brothers was sued by a Missouri tattoo artist who claims he owns a copyright on the unique tattoo that is displayed by Mike Tyson and Ed Helms in The Hangover 2, and so this thing has been in and out of court. As a matter of fact here, a footnote, Warner's lawyers from St. Louis's Thompson Coburn Law Firm, that's a famous law firm here in St. Louis, say the home video release is currently scheduled for December of 2011, which would allow Warner Brothers sufficient time to make changes if it becomes necessary. I would not want to be the guy who gets stuck with the responsibility of digitally altering the face of Mike Tyson, Ed Helms, and all this sort of stuff. And he's got a tattoo in pretty much every scene after the 20-minute mark of the movie. So how'd you like to be the special effects wizard who has to go in there and sort of fix all this? This is just unbelievable. You're going to have to do it in every frame. This will probably end up being settled because I just can't see any practical method. They're going to have to pay this guy a ton of money. In the meantime, Warner Brothers isn't commenting, and we have more drama here in the St. Louis courts. We already have the NFL situation, and let me jump over to that. Have you looked at the Rams' schedule? Look at the September schedule of dates for the Rams this year. I have said this from the beginning. I think that the NFL lockout/strike is not going to be resolved until about, maybe the first or second week of October. That is JC's prediction on this. I have no specific reason for saying that other than I know a lot about negotiation, and I've seen this stuff happen before, and I just got a funny hunch that we're going to end up losing about the first month of the season. It'll get to about October, and both sides will realize how much money they're losing, and they'll work something out. So with all that in mind, if that's true, if I'm right, if I'm just taking a stab in the dark here and it turns out that I'm right, it is going to greatly benefit the St. Louis Rams, because a lot of people feel, and I do, that the worst part of their schedule is the first month. If you don't play the first month of the season, you got a better chance of making the playoffs if you're the St. Louis Rams this year. So let's see how the whole thing sort of shakes out. Speaking of the NFL, there's a safety by the name of Brett Lockett who plays for the New England Patriots, and he says that he has been banging Kim Kardashian for the past 5 months. This, of course, gets in the way of her relationship with Kris Humphries in a most inconvenient way. Kim Kardashian is denying it. However, Brett is sticking to his story. He went straight to TMZ and called Kim a liar. He also says he has evidence of their relationship. This guy is either crackers, or if it's true, Kim Kardashian has some splaining to do. And it also, I've said from the very beginning that this marriage between Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries will never happen, because I think it's all staged for the TV show. I think the whole thing's phony. So let's watch and see what happens there. Taylor Swift won the Video of the Year awards last night at the Country Music Television Awards. I don't watch crap like that. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because Sheryl Crow apparently had an upskirt wardrobe malfunction, and Shania Twain fell on her ass when she was coming out on stage to give an award. That's always good. This has got to be one of the weirdest stories I've heard in a long time. You know, you start talking to people who are in the formative early stages of rock and roll. When I'm talking about rock and roll, I'm talking about album rock of the 70s primarily. You see the movie Almost Famous by Cameron Crowe, and I've always said that that is the most accurate depiction of what rock and roll in the 70s were very, very obviously very important for the development of what we now know as album rock or classic rock. And the 70s, it was all, and that movie, Almost Famous, was almost a documentary as far as I'm concerned. That's how accurate the depiction of being around the music scene in the 1970s was, and I was all over it in those days. Still am to some extent, but back in those days, you know, just backstage and everything, and just, I lived the whole thing about being at concerts and being around radio stations and rock stars and music people and stuff like that. So the year was 1971, and Alice Cooper was 23 years old. He was just starting his career, and he was invited to Elvis's penthouse in Las Vegas. Liza Minnelli was there, Linda Lovelace was there, and Elvis took him into the kitchen, took Alice into the kitchen, opened a drawer, pulled out a loaded pistol, and he said, he gave the pistol to Alice Cooper, and he says, "Hold this gun to my head." And Alice Cooper's like, "What?" He takes the pistol and holds it to Elvis's head. And he's thinking to himself, should I shoot Elvis? I mean, what is this? And at one point, and he's thinking to himself, you could be famous as the guy who killed Elvis. You'd go away for a few years, but, you know, whatever. And just about that time, Elvis does like one of these bizarre karate kicks and kicks the gun. Gun goes flying out of Alice Cooper's hand, sends it flying. He trips Alice Cooper, pins him to the ground, gets on top of him, and says, "Now that's how you stop a man with a gun." We already know the story about the time that Elvis was invited to the White House to meet Richard Nixon, and he was packing heat, and nobody in the Secret Service had the balls to frisk Elvis, and so he went in there and had a loaded pistol inside the Oval Office. It's just an amazing story. All right, Chuck Norris and Jennifer Love Hewitt are the worst actor and actress of the past 26 years. This according to RottenTomatoes.com. What they did is they took all of the movie reviews for everybody who's made a movie in the last 25 years, in this case 26 years, because it's 2011. So they went all the way back, to 1985, and they said, okay, we're going to go look at the reviews for every movie made and see who got the highest marks and the lowest marks. And the lowest marks went to Chuck Norris for movies like Delta Force and Top Dog and Sidekicks. And Jennifer Love Hewitt made movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Garfield. Actually, there were 2 Garfield movies. In the meantime, if you go strictly American, then the winner with the highest rating is John Ratzenberger. Remember the guy from Cheers, Cliff? Because he was basically in every Pixar movie that's been made so far. Rating of 76.1. The best American actress is Amy Madigan, who was in Gone Baby Gone and played the wife of Kevin Costner in Field of Dreams, and she has a rating of 72.8. Best American Director, Ethan Coen, because of movies like Raising Arizona, The Big Lebowski, Brother, Where Art Thou? And the worst director is the guy who does all of Adam Sandler's movies, but he doesn't care because he's rich. Oh boy. Hershey's has introduced their new aerated milk chocolate, which is filled with tons of little air bubbles. As marketed, it says here it's light and airy in texture and melts in your mouth. You know, not as a way to give you more air than chocolate. It wouldn't be that, would it? And the big E. coli scare in Europe right now is scaring the hell out of a lot of people, but you'll be happy to know that here in this country, salmonella is on the rise, and it's replacing E. coli as the top source of food poisoning. All right, birthdays today, a couple of big ones. Natalie Portman is 30, Johnny Depp 48, Michael J. Fox is 50, and JC's Eye Candy today. I know it's a little corny in sort of a Glee sort of way, but they said goodbye to Meredith Vieira on the Today Show yesterday, and if this thing had been pre-recorded, that would be one thing, no big deal. Maybe it would still be worth note, but the fact that they did this live on national TV is the reason I put it up as JC's Eye Candy today, and they did this whole sort of flash mob farewell finale to Don't Stop Believin' by Journey, and I have to tell you, it's pretty cool. I mean, the whole thing about it is that it was done live. That's the whole key to the whole thing. So you can check it out, JC's Eye Candy, right below what you're looking at right here. We are moving the showgram on the Big 550 KTRS on Monday. Trish Gazelle, Trish's Trash, will be on from noon to 3 starting Monday, June 13th. That's Monday on the Big 550 KTRS. In the meantime, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Thursday, June 9th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Get out of here.